Hear me? Is it good? Hi, I'm Dr. Bonnie Bomar. I'm the principal at Groesbeck High School. So I just wanted to talk to you about a few things and maybe answer some questions you might have, even if it's about some stuff from the other campuses. I may not be able to answer everything, but at least I can give you a place to go so that you can get whatever answers you need. We do start school on Wednesday. It's going to be really, really important that if your child, whether they're a remote learner or they're going in person, that you pay attention to what's happening on the website. Now keep in mind, when you first go to groesbeckisd.net, you're going to hit the main district site. And from there, when you click on campus, you can hit every single campus, and there'll be lots of information on there, and you just have to sort through. On the main page, there's one important piece that I hope people have taken the time to look through, because you get an opportunity to offer some feedback. And it's the return to school plan. And it's on this front page. You scroll down just a little bit, you click on the link, you can read it. It gives you, it's the second, underneath the highlighted part, the second, scroll up just a little bit. Scroll down just a little bit. Keep going. Keep going. It's right there. It's that right there. And you click on that link and you can offer feedback and ask questions. So if you read stuff and you're like, well, how does this work exactly? What happens when a kid gets sick? What happens when a teacher gets sick? What does asynchronous mean? What is all that? You can actually give your feedback. There's a link there and you can ask questions. It goes directly to the assistant superintendent. And then you can put your 2 cents in and have some input in what that looks like. Now, although we start school on Wednesday, our hands are tied a lot by TEA guidelines and directives. We did have a volleyball scrimmage, and in case any of you were there, you'll know that we were limited on seats, we're limited on tickets, we're limited on how close people can sit together, and all that has to do with UIL and TEA guidelines, all based from the CDC. So that's one of the things that we're really working towards. At each one of the campuses, we've been given directives from the state about entry points, limiting the number of kids. We don't, all the kids come in through the front door. Well, they've asked us to spread that apart a little bit, just in an effort to limit some contact and limit clumps of kids. So that's one of the things that you'll need to watch for. At the high school, if you happen to drive, you'll be able to park in the front, come in the front. All of our students have to have a driver's license, of course, and then a parking permit, those students that drive themselves. Students that are car riders will be dropped off in front of the varsity gym, and they'll enter from that point, and there will be supervision out there to help guide kids in the building. Kids that are bus riders will have 3 different drop-off points based on routes. That information will be on the website tomorrow afternoon. They're just finishing off to make sure they've got all the kiddos covered that will be riding the bus. We did make phone calls home. If you have a high school student, one of us talked to you and found out if you're coming in person or you're going to do remote learning. And so we found out whether you're going to ride the bus and hopefully got some good contact information from you. It's going to be imperative that whatever school your child is at, we have a good, clean email address for you. Got to make sure that you're getting those emails. And those, I imagine, tomorrow I know for sure my staff will be sending out emails. You want to make sure that you're on that email list. I brought business cards with me, and you are more than welcome to take one. It's got all of my contact information, and if I can't answer the question or if I'm not the principal you want to talk to, I can get you in contact with the correct one. So that's just imperative that that communication is there. And if you have questions, it's really important to call us, really, really important to call us. And like I said, you'll have every single number, my email address, anything that you need, any question that you might have for anything in the district, I will be more than willing to try to answer or get you the correct answer. As far as you may have heard the words asynchronous learning, so the kiddos that are going to stay home will be on the same track as kiddos that are in person. Teachers are going to video lessons. They're going to do different video clips for tutorial purposes. They're going to have different resources. We're trying very hard to limit paper, so there's going to be a lot more done through their Chromebooks, through Google Classroom. So if you have a child that's struggled with that, you might want to make contact with the principal and make sure that you have a good working device. We are a one-to-one district, so everybody does have a Chromebook at the secondary level. Lower levels, I know that there's some different things they've got going on, so you'll definitely want to talk to your campus principals about those details. At the middle school, I know there's some different traffic patterns they're doing. We're both, the middle school and the high school, doing some different things with lunch. Our students will be eating breakfast in the classroom, very much like the elementary does, rather than they really are telling us they don't want to have student assemblies. They want to limit what happens during cafeteria time. So students will be spread out rather than at cafeteria tables like we used to do that. Students will be expected to wear a mask as part of their dress code. That's going to be the expectation. Students will change classes. Anything in athletics, they do not have to wear a mask while participating in anything, any athletic activity other than spotting when they're in the weight room. I know they ask the spotter to wear a mask because they are in close contact with each other there. But other than that, during any type of physical exertion, they're not expected to wear that mask. Let me see, what else? I'm trying to think. Maybe I need to open it up for questions. There might be some questions that you have that you might want to ask about. Yes?
What are y'all going to do about the substitute situation?
What are we going to do about the substitute situation? Very good question. We have some different plans in place. We actually, surprisingly, have a lot of people that want to come in and sub. I've been very pleased. We already have had to make some sub arrangements for a few teachers, and people have been willing to come. So I'm excited about that. And so we'll just have to see what happens from there. I was very surprised. I do have a backup plan. There are times when we can't find substitutes, and so I teach some class sometimes, and that's just what happens, and so does the office staff. And so we rotate in to make sure our kids are supervised. It happens, and we've got some plans in case we don't have subs or people, start to get sick or things happen or people don't feel good about coming. But we've got some plans in place, supervision-wise, just like we would during the regular school year. Good question, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I've got an incoming freshman.
Okay.
And in past years, you have fish camp, so they know where in the world to go. So I'm a little bit concerned about that, and so is she. Is there a map with updated class details on there that I can get hold of?
So fish camp, we're not going to have a fish camp. So for incoming freshmen, that's definitely a worry. We are talking about a virtual tour that we would post on the website for probably tomorrow, but definitely for Tuesday. I don't know how it's going to go, though, because it's a big file, and it takes up bandwidth and all that. What I will say is on that first day, we're going to try to make kids as comfortable as possible. We really, really are. That first period teacher, because the kids are going to go directly, if a child arrives at 7:30, they go directly to their first period class. And schedules will be out online on Tuesday. It'll either be sent to the kiddo's Gmail address, or it will send you some instructions on how to access it. It's going to be very simple. We just changed to what's called Texas instead of Skyward. So if you've got familiarity with that parent portal, it's going to be a little different. It's a little more user-friendly. I mean, you click a button and it's all there. And so I think that'll help, but we have to teach people how to use it. So that's going to be a little slow process. But just tell her to watch her Gmail. It's now a GHS Gmail, and there'll be some more information. If we can put that link on there, we will. Otherwise, just tell her, sit tight, it's going to be okay. It's scary because fish camp's very important for them, and it makes them feel better. But it will be fine. We're going to do everything in our power on that first day, first period, to make kids feel a little better about being there, especially our freshmen.
One of our online questions was, are they going to be changing classes, and how's that going to work?
Are they going to be changing classes, and how is that going to work? Yes, they will be changing classes. We have some lines and arrows in the hallway. We have some additional supervision to help get kids where they're supposed to be. They are expected to wear a mask in the hallway. I am going to have zero tolerance of misbehavior and refusal to follow dress code. That mask is now part of dress code. Kiddos that can't follow the rules and do as I'm asking will have to go home. And so it's going to be very, very important, and I know at the middle school she feels the same. Safety's got to be #1 priority for us. And I know kids are not going to like wearing the mask, but that's what we've been asked to do. That's what we're going to enforce. And so that's going to be a big part. Supervision is going to be big there. And our kids are fabulous. They really, really are. And they're going to do what they're supposed to do, or they're going to do the best they can to do what they're supposed to do. We've been working with student groups all summer, and they've just surprised me so much. They've done such a great job and been very mature and done their best. So we're looking forward to that. Watching the student athletes, the volleyball players, any of the girl athletes that came to work out, football players, and they've just done a fantastic job following the rules. So I feel confident our kids are going to do what they're supposed to do. And if they don't, they will go home. So we want to be very clear about that. Yes, sir.
Actually, it's two-part, okay? Number one, will the kids, junior high kids, be allowed to use their backpacks? And number two, what was the website to get their schedule?
There'll be a link on the website, the actual grossbeckisd.net website. There'll be some sort of link or indicator. Also, kids, every single student has a Gmail address through us, and so kids need to be frequently checking that Gmail address. And we should have parent email addresses, and we're going to do an email blast to parents as well. I'll give you, like I said, I'll share my business card with you, and then if it's a junior high question, I can put you in touch with Miss Moody as well. As far as backpacks, my understanding is they are not going to have backpacks, but she needs to clarify that for you. So I can get contact information for you and make sure that she lets you know that directly. Yes, ma'am.
Were we supposed to already get calls about like schedules and stuff?
Where is your child? Where's your student?
I'm going to high school.
Oh, it's you. Are you going to be a freshman?
She's transferred.
Oh, that's right. I know. Yes, you're going to be a junior, right? Senior, okay.
We haven't gotten any calls about anything. We haven't gotten any emails.
If you'll stay afterwards, I'll talk to you a little bit because I know exactly who you are. So we'll talk in just a little bit. Because you're probably going to have to come see me on the first day. For a good reason, not a bad reason. Principal is not always a bad reason, I promise. Other questions? Yes, sir.
For the online kids, are they going to have to go on at a specific time? How's that going to work with like truancies and then be marked absent if they don't show up at it, you know?
Okay, so the question was for online students, how does that work? Do they have to log in at a specific time? How does attendance basically work for truancy reasons and all that? It's called asynchronous. So basically, if a student does not have to log in during that class period. They can, because a lot of teachers are going to open it up so that a student can participate at that moment, but they do not have to. So that means, say, a student, something happens, they get up a little later than usual, they can log into their lessons at any time, but they have to log in every day. And teachers have certain assignments they need kids to get done, and it's not going to be a 20-page paper that's due that day for them to be counted absent. But there are going to be specific assignments that have to get done in order for attendance to count. Your online learners are going to be just a little tiny bit behind because teachers are going to need to have time to get them caught up with the kids that are actually in the room. So the attendance will be a little bit lagging there, but it won't be significant. It won't be weeks at a time or anything like that. So that's how we're planning for that. First day of school, it's going to be imperative that your online learner checks in. They need to check in with their teachers, and you need to watch those emails for instructions about how to make that happen. We don't want to send it out too early because then people will forget, and if we don't want to send it out too late because then people won't know. So we're kind of in a weird, we've got Monday and Tuesday to make some magic happen for Wednesday. So, but Wednesday, it's very important that your online learner logs in. Excellent question.
Have all their schoolwork done by like say midnight that night to get that for their attendance.
Yes, and the parameters will be on there. Yes, that's what they're going to do because then the attendance clerk can do some different things the next morning. And we may open it up a little bit later. A lot of our older kids are night owls, and they have no problem working at 2 a.m. And so I just want the work done, so I'm not going to be too picky about the time frame. I just want it to get done. And we had that experience quite a bit with what happened in the spring. Our kids were working at 4 or 5 in the morning and sleeping all day or some craziness. But the life of a teenager sometimes.
One last thing.
Sure.
As far as if they want to do online learning, but they say they're doing welding, how does that they can work that situation?
Excellent question. So they want to do online, but then there's some hands-on classes. Welding is an excellent example. We also have a nursing program that we're working through. So that's another one. Science classes. Teachers are going to offer opportunities, different intervals after school, and maybe potentially even on the weekends for kids to come in and do some hands-on things. Or they're going to be able to do some things at home. They're going to give some instructions. Now, obviously, if you don't have welding equipment, you're not going to be able to do the welding at home. But they'll make some accommodations for you. The teachers already have a plan, and so they'll share that information with you. And it won't be as frequent as we would like for our online learners, but the opportunities will definitely be there. We'll figure out a way to make it happen. Other questions?
Kind of a echo of the backpack question, but for the high school, and then also, what about other school supplies throughout the year since school supplies have been quarantined now? How's that going to continue?
High school students, it's the same as always. Backpacks are absolutely acceptable. We need our kids to bring our backpacks. We don't have lockers. Kids are going to want to bring lunch. Kids can, of course, order lunch in the cafeteria or bring their own lunch. One of the things that's very important for kids that bring their own lunch, there will be no microwaves available. There's no way we can sanitize properly in between use, and so there's probably going to be a lot of sandwiches eaten by everybody in the building for a while. But cafeteria food will be available, hot lunch will be available in that regard. All the safety precautions will be taken while kids pick up their lunches. And again, kids that bring their own lunch need to have that backpack. As far as school supplies, at the high school it's pretty easy. Kids bring their own materials. Now, things that have been donated to us so far have just been sitting and they're telling us after a certain amount of time that that's absolutely fine for those non-porous materials to be sitting. As far as things that are donated, we just kind of quarantine them in a storage area until a certain amount of time passes, and then we can distribute to kids. We have lots and lots of supplies on campus from previous years, stuff that hasn't been used, and then just things that we've brought in over time. And so our kids should have everything they need. But at the high school, it's pretty easy, like I said, because they bring their own stuff. And some teachers require a notebook. Some teachers want a 3-ring binder, some folders, that type of stuff. And that school supply list, for high school at least, is usually made available to students on that first day so that they know what to get for the rest of the semester. Works similar at junior high, but again, like I said, we have lots and lots of school supplies, and we've had some donations, a lot of donations, that we're keeping as safe as possible prior to distribution to the kids that need them. Other questions?
Another online question. If a positive case happens, how will the school respond and how will parents respond?
We have, as a matter of fact, on Friday, the superintendent and assistant superintendent pulled the administrative team together, the principals, and we went through what was called tabletop scenarios. There are exact situations like that and the exact protocols that we have to go through. It's outlined very clearly. They don't leave anything to chance. TEA has made it very clear what we're expected to do from CDC guidance as well. We will have to, a positive case comes in, we have to look at every single parameter so that we can investigate. We do contact tracing. We've got to know where that kiddo's been, who they've been around, how much time prior to the actual notification of the positive test, and then we make decisions from there. Whole investigative flow chart that we have. We have to be very transparent with everybody, the community and the staff. We also have to protect the name of the individual, whether it be a staff member or a student. So you're not going to get a letter home saying Bonnie Bomar has COVID. That's not going to happen. It's very, very important that we follow FERPA laws and, of course, HIPAA. So there's some good guidance that we got from TEA in regards to that. So those scenarios are there. I'll actually be sharing those scenarios with my teachers on Tuesday at our staff meeting for first day procedures. So I think that will make people feel just a little bit better that there's a plan. But it is step by step exactly what has to happen. And every step begins with notification to the superintendent as soon as I'm made aware or any of the principals are. And then we go from there and follow the rest of the guidance. Excellent question. Yes, ma'am.
Being that the kids are switching classes, which I'm thankful that they are the teachers or the students going to have to disinfect their
Yes.
cleaning area between classes? How's that going to work?
As a matter of fact, this morning I spent the morning making a solution. We've got some stuff on order. Everything's sort of on back order, but we've got Lysol, we've got wipes, we've got gloves, we've got paper towels, and we've got more stuff coming. And so teachers are going to have that stuff available to them to wipe down desks, wipe down doorknobs. We are going to keep classroom doors open as much as we can to reduce bathroom doors open so that there's not the doorknob issue quite as much. But we just want to make sure we ease that as much as we possibly can. And like I said, in the hallways, we're doing things as directionally as possible. Our hallways are pretty wide, so we're actually very fortunate. We are going to open up the courtyard doors so kids can go through there as well to reduce that clump of traffic, and they get a moment outside, which is nice. And we do have a camera out there so that we'll be able to monitor. We'll actually be out there. We're going to be all over the building. So that's going to be a helpful tool for that as far as supervision goes. But yes, we will be disinfecting and cleaning spaces. If a student is in a particular classroom and we have isolation protocols, isolation room protocols in place, the nurse has very, very strict instructions for the staff on what to do if they think a kiddo doesn't feel good, or if a student comes and says, I think I'm running a fever, I don't feel well. And so we have a bunch of parameters in place, and we'll make that available to the public as well so you know exactly what that is. It'll be on the website. We'll probably have just a whole link so that you can access and see exactly what the plan is, because it's pretty lengthy, but it's good. It's there in writing, and we know exactly which steps to take. We don't have to guess. We know exactly what to do. So yes, good question. We will sanitize as much as we can. We have gloves. We have masks available. We're just going to do everything we can to protect our teachers and our students. Other questions?
At week 9, will the students have the opportunity to either come back or to go online?
Yes, absolutely. So say you decided your child was going to go in person. They go on that first day and they're like, Mom, Dad, I don't feel good about it. I don't want to be there. I think I need to be online. You make the phone call to me, and that student can go to online learning. Once they make that choice, they have to remain the entire 9 weeks October 9th is when that grading period ends. And then you can reevaluate and say, you know what, online learning is not working for my child. They need that in-person piece, which a lot of students do. A lot of students need that teacher face-to-face. The online just isn't, for them, and that's okay. Then at that 9-week mark, you can reevaluate and let us know, for sure. But once you choose, or if you get in trouble and you have to go to online, you have to remain the entire 9 weeks. Excellent question. Yes, sir.
So with like with Emily here, okay? She starts school, and after the first week, she says, "Hey, I don't want this. I want to do online." Can she do that, or does she
Yes.
have to stay in school online?
No. If she chooses in person, and it's not going well, she can shift. She can shift to online learning. She just has to stay the whole 9 weeks.
Okay.
And she'll get the same supports, but just sometimes some kiddos need that face-to-face with the teacher a little bit more. A lot of our teachers were calling home. A lot of our teachers were using Google Hangout or Google Meet so that they could talk to kids individually for tutoring. So we've gotten a little bit better at it, and we're getting better. We had some good training from TEA, and I'm hoping that teachers, they've done some phenomenal things already so that kids can get a little more face-to-face even if it's online. And so hopefully that will be the difference between what happened in the spring and what happens now.
Well, that's another thing I was going to ask, because she's really bad at math, and she does get tutored in math.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
she'll be able to have that tutored.
I think she will, yes. You work that out with the teacher for sure, and I think you'll be fine.
Okay.
The teachers are looking forward to seeing the kids. I mean, everybody's nervous, I get that, but our teachers are very eager to see the students. It was a very hard 9 weeks without them. Very difficult. Other questions? Like I said, I'll have business cards available for you, and if you can share that with your online audience too, then they can have my information. And all you have to do is call me. And any of those cell phone numbers, there's 2 cell phone numbers that work. Call me anytime. Any questions that you may have, you may think of when you're driving home, or someone at home may have, just let me know, and I'll do my best to get you the answer or answer it for you. Anything else, sir? Okay. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Have a blessed day.